So this is a live stream for the ENVO Snow program. Below me is Robert, our VP of Sales, and to the left top is Laurent, who is our R&D, one of our R&D engineers, and to the left below him is Harry, and Harry is also the original engineer on the Snow Card and Snow product program. So Harry, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how the whole thing started.
The original idea started like a long time ago when my CEO Ali Kazim Khani predicted to make a snow cart, and in his engineering days he used to make snowmobiles. And 3 years ago, I remember we started with building our own snow tracks and the whole machine with 72 volts and very powerful one. And we squeezed down a lot of stuff, like individual motor drive system with individual track and with the kind of suspension system, which is very easy to transport here and there. So we came up with a modular design, which can be do-it-yourself kit. You can do adjustment on the seat. You can make the ski at the front or back, as per the user, requirement. I have seen kids of 7 years also riding the snow cart, which makes a really adorable product. And there, the snow cart is basically the center of gravity is so low that you have a really fun experience riding this machine. And the batteries are replaceable, all the tracks are replaceable. So in terms of maintaining the snow cart, it's it's easy. And as you know, like the electric vehicles have low maintenance costs than traditional gasoline vehicles. So it's all clean. There is no dirt here and there. You can easily remove the batteries and charge at your home. And it's a 48 volt system, so it can produce around 2.4 kilowatt of power, and it drives about 20 kilometers per hour top speed. So that was a little bit brief about snow cart, and pretty much that's it.
So a lot of people, there's been quite a few comments since we put up a couple of videos. A lot of people are like, this is, I can buy a snowmobile for the same price. Why do we, what's the advantage, or what's the difference, or where does the product stand out in relation to that? I mean, obviously there's the low, environmental impact aspect of it, but what else? Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, Julian. I think it's really about understanding the whole move to electric mobility as a major trend, right? Whether it's vehicles for cars, whether it's bikes, whether it's snow products. The movement to electrify these things has a number of key benefits. One is the sustainability aspect of it and the use of electricity. The second is, people say about the cost, well, it seems expensive for what you get. Well, you got to remember, if you look at electric vehicle costs, right, the first cars that came out that electric, very expensive because of the batteries. So the key components of our system are the battery and the motor, which are the two most expensive things. Those are coming down in time, and we're continually optimizing for that. But the nice thing is you don't have to buy fuel after, right? You're just charging the batteries. So there's some cost saving long term in terms of operational cost. There's a lot less maintenance on the device that you have versus, say, a snowmobile, where you've got a lot of other moving parts in those sort of vehicles. So similar to what you're seeing in electric vehicles and the maintenance-free notion in an electric vehicle, the same thing happens with the snow cart. So you get sustainability, you get maintenance-free, you get low operating costs. So yes, it's a little bit more than some other items, but your long-term cost is actually quite low. So we're quite excited about the opportunity to share this sort of electromobility out there with the world, and we think it's a pretty sweet product. And the feedback we've gotten has been awesome. So really excited about it.
I think the thing to remember too is this is an iterative process, right? Like this is a version 3, Harry, maybe? Something
this is version 3, generation 3, I would say.
So, as technology, improves, as batteries improve, as we, continue to innovate, this is going to get better and better. This is, and I think it's important to answer this for a lot of people who have asked. This is the best and the most economical way that we can produce this at the moment. And that doesn't mean that that's not going to go down in price, or it's not going to become more efficient or have more power or have more range. But given the tools that we have to work with, cost of batteries, material supply chain, I would say that this is probably the best we can do right now. And it's quite good. Like, it's not, I'm 220 pounds and I can, drive it up a probably 10-12% grade, no problem. Can I do that for 2 hours? No, definitely not. But if you put, a 90-pound person on there and they were able to, climb up a hill for 2 hours, that's way more likely. So it's a variation of reasons why, or how, the performance depends on, a variety of things, I'd say. What's the coldest you can use it, Harry? Like, what, because, we have people asking, well, can you use this in -20? Does the battery performance degrade? Maybe can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would little bit start from the beginning when we started doing this test, and it was like -5 degrees Celsius, and the second generation came up to like -10 degrees Celsius. But now our snow carts are capable of handling it -20 degrees Celsius, and the optimum range will decrease as the temperature goes down. The chemicals in the batteries change a lot. Even the electrical components change a lot. But our system, we have tested under -25 degrees Celsius, and once the battery is heated up, it's completely normal to ride the snow carts. The range will decrease a little bit, but you're riding at -25 degrees Celsius. Our current R&D engineering team is working on developing the batteries which can sustain at -30 degrees Celsius, which covers a lot of region. And in future, as Robert said, the batteries technology are evolving. There are solid state batteries coming up, and there is heating chambers coming up. We are constantly working on developing the BMS system for the batteries, which can regulate the temperature of the batteries over a period of time. What we are majorly focusing on the cell balancing system, because over a period of time, after 3 years or 4 years, there will be the issue coming up of cell imbalance. We are taking utmost care about balancing those cells, so that the life of the vehicle increase, the reliability of the whole battery pack increase. Because usually any other batteries in the market for small electric vehicles, they only last for 2 to 3 years, and then the customer don't have that amount of range. But in the snow condition, we are really working hard to optimize the product at its best.
So what's cell imbalance?
The cell imbalance is over a period of time when you overcharge, or over discharge the cells, or if you have the manufacturing defect in your batteries, then over a period of time, the cell balance get a little bit degrade or imbalance. Which I mean that if all the cells are 100%, you will have 100% capacity. But out of 10 cells, even one cell is a little bit lower, let's say 90%, the overall capacity will be reduced to 90%. So our BMS system is avoiding those kind of stuff. So if we have 91 cell at 90%, our BMS system will increase from 90% to 100%, making sure all the balance cells are there. But in traditional BMS, they didn't have those systems. So over a period of time, customer will only get like 70%, 60%, and then it will be reduced. And the number of life cycle is also very important in this. Like lithium ion cells are only for 500 to 1,000 life cycle. At most, it can go like 1,500 life cycles. So after 1,500 times of charging, there will be degradation of overall amp hour of the overall capacity of the battery. So if the cells are balanced, the capacity will be maintained a little bit. So we are predicting the snow cart, which we are offering right now, the battery can sustain for 4 to 5 years easily.
4 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Just in that area, just again, Julian, sorry, but one of the things that ENVO really prides itself on is, from an engineering perspective, the battery management system is one of our sort of key attributes that we're actually spend a lot of time figuring out the right way to manage that battery for particular use cases with our bikes and our snow carts and so on, right? And you'll notice, battery life cycles with anything from your iPhone to your car, they all have the same sort of issues, right? But in different use cases, it's really important to kind of treat your BMS a little bit differently, and that's one of the things that Harry and his team really strive to work on, to optimize that for particular use cases. So
I'm going to ask all the dumb questions. What is a BMS? Is it battery management system?
Good job, Steve.
Can you
believe it?
Yeah, you're in engineering, Julian.
Obviously, yeah.
It's a battery management system, but I just didn't mention the point here that we only use branded cells, which is Panasonic's and LG. We are not using any other cells other than that. In our normal e-bikes also, we only rely on Panasonic and LG cells, and which can sustain minus 20 degrees Celsius in a normal condition. So the BMS itself is a small circuit. It's a motherboard of the battery, which controls each cells which are connected in parallel, and control the short circuit protection, overcharge or over discharge protections, and eventually the cell balance system. We are working on the BMS system, which we can connect and visualize the state of charge, current state of charge of the batteries. So BMS is basically has a CPU which controls all this, and a special powerhouse.
Okay, so is it the case that a lot of electric mobility brands use unbranded cells? And that's cells that are not LG or Panasonic?
Yes, a lot of technology in the battery differs, like what kind of lithium-ion cells they are using, and what kind of manufacturing process they are going through, or what kind of quality check they are doing, or is their manufacturing process is going well or not. So all these factors makes a major impact on the overall product development of the batteries. Now, you can easily find any cheap Amazon battery or any Chinese battery online. You can just go surf any website and you will find $300, $400 batteries. And they will work for a while, which is 6 months or a year. But after a period of time, there is no warranty claim. You won't be allowed to replace those batteries. The fixing of those batteries will be tremendous difficult for other technicians, and you are risking yourself. The battery may go on fire, and those batteries are not certified at all. So you won't get enough performance, and you will find issues just after 6 months. So we have like 6 to 8 years of experience in this industry, and I believe that eventually we provide a very branded products here, like Panasonic and LG, with a registered BMS and certifications. We even took care of the gauge of the wires that goes through it, and all these small factors really make the performance ratio very important. So yes, we really take care of the quality of overall development of the product.
Okay. Hey, so before we go on, because I got a couple more questions around battery, but so Steve Karkner from maybe Wisconsin? No, maybe not. Anyway, Steve's got a question. He's got a question about ice fishing. Do we have any videos, or do we have any? Can we share our experience using the cart in deep snow? So I don't know if you, Steve, if you saw the video we put up the other day. We had a little bit of snow in Vancouver, which for Canada is not much, but for us it's like a disaster. So we went out and did a quick day of testing and filming, and we probably had half a foot in some spots. And so most recent video that you see, the snow shred, I think it's called, it's like a minute long. Towards the end there, you can see Harry actually taking the snow cart through sort of the underbrush, and that's actually fairly deep there, and it's rough. So, Harry, how much do you weigh, if you don't mind me asking?
I know in kgs, which is like 70 to 75. I don't remember,
Okay.
but yeah.
So
what in pounds? Yeah,
maybe
160 pounds. Yeah,
160. Yeah. So at 160 pounds, you were able to make it navigate through that underbrush. Those are all like raspberry bushes and that kind of thing. So it was pretty, heavy duty. And then you were able to climb up that toboggan hill that we were on fairly easily. So with answer, Steve, in deep snow, it's pretty good. But again, if you load it down, it may not be as good. What do you think? Laurent, what do you think about the deep snow capabilities?
Yeah, especially if you want to do access. just to go access ice fishing, you would totally, you'd be fine. If you were trying to, go like a snowmobile day on a 60 centimeter champagne powder, that might be a different experience. But I don't think there's any problem driving through 20-25 centimeters of snow.
Yeah,
Especially to go ice fishing.
we actually have a good couple of pictures. A customer just in Winnipeg just purchased one, and we have them plowing through a field, and you're probably talking about a foot of new snow that they were rushing through, and had no problem with that. So good flat snow, no problem at all to go through some pretty deep snow, right? Conditions will vary depending on the weight of the snow, right? So West Coast wet snow versus East Coast powder snow, you get some differences in terms of how that all translates into performance, right? But it's pretty hardy. And as Julian said on that video, the other thing you'll see is that, again, going up a hill and going over to crest, the torque of the unit is actually quite powerful, right? So you can really plow through some pretty deep sort of snows and ruts and slush quite easily. So good success so far.
Steve, I think what we need to do is it's an opportunity situation for us in Vancouver. We don't have a ton of POW unless you're way up on the, head up to Whistler or the North Shore, stuff like that. So we will endeavor to, do some testing in deeper snow for you guys. What was I going to say? Laurent, so where are we thinking about in terms of innovations for future product on the snow cart or the DIY?
Well, I just want to come back to you early on in the presentation. You said, what are the difference between a snow cart and a snowmobile? Obviously, there are tons, but one that I really like is that I can fit the snow cart in my trunk, in my, small SUV. It's much lighter and smaller than a snowmobile and easier to carry. You don't need a trailer or whatever. So it's very, very convenient. And again, no carbon footprint. So
yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
And then to answer your question about innovation, obviously it will be about increasing speed, increasing range. That would be it. Ali is already working on this, trying to make more range or maybe a bigger battery or more of a modular system where we can have multiple batteries.
So I want to answer Next Step Wisconsin's question, but just so we remember, I'd love to go back and just talk about who Ali is and the fact that the snow cart is actually his thesis defense, I believe, from university that he started with. So we should definitely tell that story. But Next Step Wisconsin is asking, are there any considerations for accessories to be made to facilitate use for adaptive sports? For paraplegics with paralyzed legs, people with hand spasticity, that sort of thing. So we have been chatting. There's an X Games athlete, ex-X Games athlete, who is now a paraplegic, and we've been going back and forth and chatting about, what's the adaptability, what's the usefulness or the utility of the snow cart. For him, it's pretty simple. He's going to modify some snowboard boot bindings onto the foot rack, I guess, and that's pretty much all he needs to do to use the snow cart. And I think the appeal for him is not really, because he still has a snowmobile, but the appeal for him is access. So, for instance, when it snows, and he's up north, when it snows, the plows may not get through, the town. So he can't. Well, A, he can't take a snowmobile into town, and B, he can't just get out and walk into town or ski or whatever. So the snow cart represents a way for him to easily and, legally be on the city streets, go and do his shopping, that kind of stuff. So his feedback was simply, it'll be a way for him to access where most adaptive equipment like a wheelchair or whatever can normally access. But because he's in a snowy region, this would really help him. I think the story that he told me is, he has 2 kids, and he's like, so when we go to the playground, I have to wait in the car, which is terrible, right? Because, you want to be playing with your kids on the playground. With the snow cart, it can fit in the back of the van. He can hop in it and be, just that much more involved. So,
Yes.
so and then I think,
Just to add
Robert,
to that-
maybe you want to talk about just some of the considerations for offering this product to that market as well.
Yeah, so absolutely. So we actually have a customer already who bought a snow cart that doesn't have use of her legs, and she's actually been out using it. And what she did for adapting to it was a simple thing, which was she just had some ties that she put on the foot brace to lock her feet into place as she went around. So, there's a lot you can do pretty simply. The nice thing about the design is that it is adaptable to put other sort of pieces on there depending on what you need, right? And so, we'd happily work with you to kind of craft something if you need it. We've got, again, a team of engineers here that understand those sort of things, that can kind of say, okay, what do we need to develop or integrate into the solution? So it might be an existing, tool or device or something out there that we can actually incorporate into the design, build an adapter for you, or whatever the case may be. So we're totally open to that, and we've been looking at some different associations to partner with to understand what the requirements are there, so that we can do more in that adaptive sort of world, right? Because we certainly see it as a very adaptive friendly sort of product, and would love to work with anybody that's interested in driving that market forward. So open to any questions, or just contact us directly, always at either at sales@envodrive.com is a great place, or just fill in the form online, and you can always ask us a question, and we're happy to partner with anybody.
I think there's one other consideration in that, to produce mobility products for this market segment, I think there's a bit of red tape there. I don't know for sure, but I do know that there's, like we come in quite a bit less price-wise than, any adaptive products that are out there. And I don't know, and we don't know enough about it, and that's kind of on us, but we should really kind of look at, what does it mean to actually produce products for that, demographic, and can we do it viably and that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of where we're at, because we have had quite a few inquiries along those lines. So Next Step Wisconsin, we're working on it. What was next there? James Collin had a question, and how long do the batteries take to charge? How many batteries does it come with? Laurent.
So minimum we have around, we have around 2 batteries.
That's part of it in terms of what it comes with. So the system itself, the snow cart comes with 2 batteries. They are totally, removable and interchangeable. We have a lot of customers buying an extra battery. The actual charge time, where there's 2 different options really. One is the standard charger that comes with it, from sort of, and what we recommend with people is to not necessarily drain them out before you need to recharge, right? Obviously, if you can swap them, great. But your charging time will vary depending on sort of the temperature as well. But you're looking at 4 to 6 hours in terms of charge time. And then with a high capacity charger, we can reduce that a little bit as well. Probably, Harry, would you say 3 to 4 hours for the high capacity charger?
Yeah, the high capacity charger will take around 3 to 4 hours to charge the complete battery, maximum 4.5 hours, but the slow charger will take around 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, so it varies.
Is there a way to extend, or what maybe what are the best practices for maintaining batteries in like really cold weather? Somebody told me, or this is what the engineers told me, that if you charge the batteries inside your house, like at room temperature, then that actually helps quite a bit. And then I heard something about if you, like, the batteries will actually operate outside at a certain amount warmer than they would if they weren't being used. So that actually extends their life in like, minus 30 degrees. Or can you guys speak to that a little bit?
So there is a way to operate this under low temperatures specifically, which is you charge the battery if you come out from the snow and the temperature outside was, let's say, minus 20 degrees, and you just put the battery on a table at room temperature, which is around 20 to 15 degrees, you just don't have to like plug the charger right away. You let the battery to warm up a little bit from inside. After 10 to 15 minutes, you are allowed to charge the battery, because it stayed outside for hours or 2 hours, and then, you know, in a room temperature it takes time to heat up. Once you charge the battery, it will automatically heat up the overall internal, the cells will get heated up itself. But as soon as you heat up the battery, or you have kept the battery in the room temperature for, let's say, overnight, you can go out and plug the battery, and you just have to quickly run the snow cart. You cannot wait for more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes to let it cool down completely. It will work, but the overall capacity of this battery will reduce, and the resistance of the cell will increase a lot. That's what happens. And over a period of time, if you continue using the batteries like that, the capacity will drastically reduce. The overall life of the battery will be reduced. The other consideration we have to do is the connectors. You are in the snow, there is snow coming everywhere, and customer don't, you know, swap up the snow from the bracket of the batteries, which leads to the short circuit, or the pin gets damaged. Then the charging socket, we have provided the cover grip to cover the charging socket if it is not in use. So all these small steps will help you to maintain the battery, and will reduce the overall maintenance cost of the battery.
Cool. Literally. So Stephanie's asking another question. Where did the idea for electric snow mobility come from? So I think that kind of parallels what we were talking about a minute ago, which was simply like, where did this thing, where was it born? What is the whole, what is the point? Harry.
Oh, yeah. So the overall point is everything should be, you know, everything will go electric soon, within like 5-10 years. And I'm glad that I'm in an organization that we are actively thinking about the future of this beautiful world, that we are trying to figure out all this kind of solution. We are not only focusing on the snow. We have developed the water electric vehicle. We have developed the road before, and now the snow. And we may do the sky in a couple of years, you know, if you are good. So electric snowmobile, I guess, in Canada, it makes a lot of sense. We have snow 7 months, 8 months here. So it has to be, this will be there, and a lot of vehicles will be electric in future. The idea, if not us, then that would be someone else who would be working on this. And I'm sure that a lot of people are already thinking about this, and a lot of other kind of electric snow vehicles you would see in this industry. And we want to make sure that our products, is sustainable in all those sense, because this is a completely new industry for a lot of newcomers to the market, and there are a lot of passionate and enthusiastic people who wants to do more do more for the whole world.
Yeah, I think the other thing to note is we talk a lot about our snow cart as one of the products that we've done, but our snow conversion kit, which has also been quite interesting, is we've been converting just anybody's existing frame on their old bike, whether it's a fat tire bike or a regular bike, we can actually have a conversion kit for that. And the other thing we've done is actually convert it to other things like trikes, a recumbent bike, and so on. So there's lots of different ways that we can actually incorporate, our notion of snow mobility to a number of different formats, right? And we started with some kits, which is really where ENVO started doing bicycle conversion kits. We started with snow kits, and now we're actually, extending that to not just a snow cart, but, again, we've got some videos out there as well that show us on our recumbent bike, a trike. We've got a new integrated trike coming out with our new Flex program shortly, so that'll be more for a next season thing. But it's about sort of just expanding the use cases and understanding the use cases and developing solutions that meet those use cases long term, right? With whatever kind of mobility you need, whether it's in the snow, as Harry said, on the water, on the road, right? That's really where it just kind of goes to the whole world becoming more sustainable, using more electric sort of propulsion to get you there. And we're a leader in that. You know, one of the questions I think and that's it's been
You're cutting up, bro.
Robert, you there?
I'm here still. You guys all went frozen on me. Sorry.
So, sorry, I missed the
Anyway.
last bit there, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying in terms of what ENVO stands for, and that's one of the questions that came up, and I thought maybe I'd let you jump on that one, Julian, being the
Yeah.
marketing.
So, I mean, all of this comes from sort of one man's quest to electrify everything, really. And that's Ali, who is our founder, who came and started with electric conversion kits. And he's from Iran. And as a boy, I mean, I'm just, paraphrasing, but as a boy, his goal was to, take a 9-volt battery and try and power his mechano set. And it just kind of went from there. So, he moved into, he went and did mechanical engineering, and his whole philosophy has always been about, caring about the planet, trying to figure out alternative ways for for transportation for humans, and how to do it in an eco-friendly way. So ENVO, the word itself, is basically an ontology. So it's like a collection of concepts that basically is focused on the environment, environmental initiatives, ecosystems, habitats, and just basically taking care of the world. So, not to make it like a big greenwashing, type of thing, but this is actually an authentic quality that is built into the DNA of ENVO from the very beginning. And ENVO came from that value and that ideal, as opposed to, there's a lot of people, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people are jumping on the sustainability train, which is great. But in terms of, from a marketing perspective, it's quite the hot topic right now. So we're competing in a space that's very crowded, and one of the things that helps us stand out is the fact that we're actually engineering all of these things in-house first. So we build test mules, we build prototypes, proof of concepts. We've got a range of products in development, and they're all done right here in Vancouver and tested locally, and then we manufacture based on what we've developed. So we're not a catalog brand, and we're definitely not riding the coattails of a green movement. We've been doing this for a long time, and now we're finally just sort of coming to market with products that we feel are the best representation of personal mobility at this time, given the technology that we've helped develop. And I can speak quite confidently on everybody's behalf and just say that we're just starting. I mean, some of the things that we've discovered, the torque, for example, of the snow car going up a hill is unexpected. That wasn't something that we were trying to, we were just trying to create something that was, a mobility solution. But so we're learning tons. So there's ENVO, just to get back to that answer, it's all about the environment, And so if you Google ENVO, the word, you can actually, that's pretty much the definition. So.
Something, the other thing that we like to think about is it's really about the evolution, right? Is one of our catchphrases that we like to throw around here, which is, it's not just an evolution, it's an envolution. And we hope everybody joins us on that ride. So it's good.
Yep, #envolution. I think the other thing that is worth discussing is the concept of sustainable engineering. So we call it ESE, ENVO Sustainable Engineering. It's not a new concept per se in the world. I think it's much more accepted in Europe than over here, but it's nice to see that it's becoming prevalent in North America. And so that's one of the things that sort of underscores everything we do. When we make a bicycle, it's a bicycle first, and then it has a battery that's added onto it for that little bit of electric power. But that bicycle is, designed to last a really long time. It'll still be a bicycle even if you removed the electric bits. The batteries, all the components are all designed to be replaceable. So if we're not around in 10, 15 years, that bike is still, assuming they make spokes and tires and everything, is still something that can be sustained over, a long period of time. So it's kind of it's a lifetime investment really on our part in terms of the development and on the consumer's part.
Yeah, maybe to add on to this, this ENVO sustainable engineering is really through many layers of the company. One of them being, as you said, we can fix and we repair bikes and we take care of our products. But the other layers is more the design side, where we try to design multiple products around the same batteries, so we can reuse parts and have very minimal waste. Again, as you said, all the products are designed to be robust and strong. So it's something that we really value a lot, is to make sustainable engineering.
I think we already have products which are already sustainable, and our best example is our D35 kind of bikes. The batteries are being used in this conversion kit as well. You'll find amazing looking bikes, sleek looking bikes, but they will work for 4 years, 5 years, and hey, my battery is not working. What are you going to do? There won't be any other company who will replace those batteries for you or repair those batteries for you. But our batteries, you just swap it out, put a new battery, or just get the battery repaired by a good technician. But there are a lot of new bikes coming in the market which have integrated battery system, but they have a dedicated case. Their batteries are only meant to go in that particular casing of or that particular frame. The next I want to talk about is the Flex. That's a new kind of concept, a singular frame which have a different application. That's a very innovative product. With a single frame, you can have 4 products, like a cargo, snow bike, a high-end long-range utility vehicle. So we offer this as a sustainable, because the manufacturing, how much greenhouse emission you produce while manufacturing, you also have to keep that in your mind.
Yeah, so the Flex is one frame and 4 bikes, essentially. You can have a trike, you can have the Overland, which is the one in the picture here behind me, which has the suspension, double batteries, super beefy tires. I think they're 4-inch tires.
Yeah.
And then you have the urban one, and then you have the snow bike. So all of those things can be incorporated or can be built out of one frame. What's interesting there is because we really try and support our dealer network. Our dealers, the ramifications for them are really quite good, because they don't have to stock 4 bikes. They can actually stock and actually take up less physical footprint in their store and by having one frame, and then actually ordering in the parts that you need to expand into those different. Plus, again, on the sustainable side of things, a customer could buy a Flex and in 2 years decide that they need a bit more stability, so they want to convert it to a trike, or they're moving to Ottawa and there's going to be a ton of snow, so they want to add on the snow track and a ski. So all those things are, again, totally underpinned by the notion of sustainable engineering. So we're trying to live that. Yeah, that's how we do it.
Steph on the chat is saying it would be nice to see your process of building someday. I believe there's a video out there of the snow part assembly, which is very well made. Maybe we can add the link in the chat.
Yeah, I can add that in there for sure. Can we talk a little bit about the whole DIY, since we're talking about assembly, the whole track itself? What parts of that are proprietary and what parts of that are pre-made, or how did that all get developed? Anyone in engineering?
Well,
So
go ahead, Danny.
yeah, so we first, in a prototyping phase, we had those parts CNC machine, and those were all custom parts. I mean, we could literally change the angle and the motor apparatus. We can lower or make the motor up and down, or that should be the exact chain guider, or not the chain guider, but the track guiders. And we have a dedicated track system, and we have a singular track which is used for the snow cart and the snow bike, but there is a different apparatus. And then we did a lot of engineering on the components, because we want to minimize the components for the both of this vehicle, right? And we used the clamp system, which was developed by our founder, and all the components are being selected for, they are all aluminum, and the component selection are been done. We did prototype, and eventually we came with a solution. So those are rubber tracks, and they are being made with galvanized rubber, and we have those rubber tracks eventually will break off. But any rubber tracks of snowmobile, if you ride particular kilometers, within a year they got ripped off. So we have customers 2 years ago, they are still using their track, and 2 years ago we launched this product. The tracks are completely fine. There is not that big a traction, or they are not going in a very harsh environment. But we as an engineer have to taste those products in-house. So we have a taste assembly line where we continuously taste our tracks. So before every batch of track we receive, we first conduct those tests for a number of hours. We do the dynamo test on those, and we really make those harsh conditions. And we have not uploaded any videos, but we really have those graphs available that we can show that, look, this is 2 kilowatt of track which is running continuously for 8 hours, and still it's in good condition. So we really perform those quality control checks on our track, and then only we proceed with going forward with the selling or production.
So then the same track that's on the snow cart, just to state the obvious, is the same track that's in the DIY snow kit, right? So it's all the same. So how big is the motor on the kit or on the track?
The motor is also same, which is 750 to 1000 watt 48 volt motor, and the maximum power per motor it can handle is 1.2 to 1.5 kilowatts. And we have custom made the sprockets to hold the track and to align them. We install those sprockets in house as well. Though the motor of snow bike and snow cart is little bit different because of the overall drop length. The snow bike requires a longer length to install on the fat tire frame or any eligible frame for the snow bike. But the configuration of the electrical configuration as well as the motor internal is all the same. But we have really took care of the component selection of the motors. We have made sure that it can sustain high tow. That was one of the most important things, because earlier in the prototyping phase we found that we really have to use the door comps and a lot of the things, but we have minimized all those. We have manufactured the components such a way that our motors are only capable with our chassis or our frame. So that was it. Yeah.
Okay. So where did I see that question? So Amur Films, are you coming out with any upgrades to the snow cart? Laurent?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Laurent can
You
describe.
can't do all the talking here. Laurent wants to say something.
Yeah.
But go.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a year product, so every year we'll have a slightly upgraded version. We're still, getting started on the next year version, which will come up with upgrades.
So what kind of upgrades are we thinking about?
Again, there'll be.
Sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
We're still in the R&D phase, but mostly on the performance will be the upgrades, so range and speed and power.
So more top speed, better range, What about torque? Because I'm still surprised at the torquiness of the snow cart. Like, does that, if you increase power and range, does that increase torque or?
Well, so power is torque times speed. And as you said, it's very surprising how much torque it has. So it's not a priority right now to increase torque. Focus is more on the speed and the range.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So just
And
not
then other things
naturally.
we're doing, just aesthetically, seat-wise, we're looking at some new seat options as well. And just really kind of making it even more comfortable, maybe even some light weighting, just all overall sort of enhancements to the unit, right? So you'll see a lot coming out in the next year. Attachment-wise, we do have a back
Mailbox.
tail box, right? That's available now that we're going to be starting to ship out soon. But we're always open to options too. If you got some ideas, anybody that they want to see something with it, by all means, shoot us a note and let us know, because we're open to think about it. Work with companies that may have a particular need. Maybe it's a basket you want on it for a particular application, or whatever the case may be. So always open to integrate new things to the snow cart product line.
Can we add streamers?
You can always add streamers, especially the.
Okay. So Bob's asking, well, he's suggesting that we should try in Colorado. I totally agree with him because it's so nice down there. And he's kindly offered to do it for us, but his question is, should he wait for the upgrade next year? And my thought is that these changes are probably a little bit further away than that. Is that accurate? By the time we research, test, develop?
Yeah, well, the question is how much we can implement by next year model. It's kind of like the iPhone every year. When is the best time to buy an iPhone? It's
Right.
now.
Now, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a fair answer.
And have fun with what it is now, because it is really fun right now, right? And some of the things that may be upgradable even, would be things like batteries, right? Where we're talking about sustainable engineering, so we're trying to reuse sort of the existing infrastructure to support higher capacity batteries potentially, right? Those kind of things. So, our notion is to try to not make them that you have to throw them out after a year, but actually that you can continue to use them, and we can look to offer some sort of upgrades, right? On at least some of the components, which is a bit of the strategy too. So. And then that comes down to the modular nature of it. That's kind of why it was designed that way, to be able to upgrade things as they go. So that's kind of the philosophy behind it.
Yeah, definitely. What is the towing capacity? Mitmer is asking, can I pull the kids behind on a toboggan? And I know that we've done that with I think it was someone on a snowboard, but you guys, can you speak to that? I mean, it's torquey, right? So what's the towing capacity, Harry?
The snow cart, we maximum we used to do like I think 80 kilos with that ski, and this was pretty much easy. I mean, we have like not only one, we had like 6 kids back on the snow cart, and everyone was like enjoying it. So it totally depends on what kind of terrain you are riding it, right? If you are doing just ice fishing, I used to do a lot of stuff. If you have a 10 centimeter of snow still with the ski sled, you are able to do a lot of stuff. But if you are climbing with that, that is something we have to put that into consideration. But the amount of tow this snow cart have, it would be slow climb, but you will be able to climb with around 50 to 100 kilos.
So I actually think the towing capacity is 400 pounds according to our website. So that's about 180
Yes.
kilos. So that's pretty much bang on, which is decent. I mean, that's at least 3 or 4 kids, right? So hopefully, Mitmer, you don't have more than, maybe you do have more than 3 or 4 kids. So, but yeah, that'll get the job done for you. What else can we? What else should we cover off? So improvements, upgrades. Where can you find these? So you should be able to find these at select dealers. We do have a dealer locator on the website, so you can click on that and just find out where your local dealer is. Again, this is a fairly new product for us, so we don't have complete market saturation yet in Canada or even close to it, but we can definitely work with you if you're in Canada, outside of Canada. I know we were shipping one to Spain, and I'm not sure why, because I don't know about the snow situation there, but was it Spain, Portugal, and
we have quite a bit of interest actually internationally. We have some interest in the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, Finland. We got France, we've got Germany, we've got Spain. There's really quite a wide variety of interest for the product, and that's for both our bicycle conversion kits, the snow cart snow bike conversion kits, as well as the snow cart. One of the things that comes into play on it is we actually ship it completely assembled as well. So. Which is nice for customers that can get a fully assembled snow cart. We ship it on a pallet, it drops off at your door, you can jump on it and go right away. You don't have to do any assembly on the unit, which is great. A lot of customers really like that. So, but again, available across the country. We've been shipping, we have customers right from, in Canada at least, from Vancouver Island all the way over to Nova Scotia. We got a customer out there. So, and as north, we just shipped to Alaska. So we have some U.S. customers up in Alaska tracking it out as well. So we've got some pretty good coverage out there. We've got stock, we've got inventory right now. We just built a new batch, so we've got a few more. There are limited supplies though, so if you are interested, by all means, I encourage you to reach out and get your order in before the end of the season and take advantage of the rest of the season, because there's still a lot of snow out there. On the East Coast, even Toronto and Ottawa areas, they got a lot of snow over the last week or so. So get your snow cart while they last is what I always say.
Yes, I've heard you say that a lot, and it makes me want to own one for sure. I've heard that there might be a federation somewhere.
The International Snow Kart Federation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what is that?
So what that is there's an initiative going on and a lot of interest in using snow carts are interesting in terms of where they can be used and how they can be used. So one of the application areas that we've seen a lot of interest in is saying, think of the snow cart as really a go-kart for the snow. And in a traditional go-kart environment, you've got go-karts, you've got a fleet of go-karts, maybe a dozen of them, going around a track and starting to race. So what we're doing is translating that concept into a snow cart concept. And we've got some interest from a couple of the people that are looking at, the idea of putting together a group of snow carts in a rental type environment and having a set course where people can go race around a course, right? So a really interesting sort of initiative. If you're interested in that, again, just reach out and connect with us, and we'll hook you up with the founder of the International Snow Kart Federation and get going.
We know that guy, right? Do we know? Is he the founder or the president? I don't know. He's quite an eccentric fellow, but man, he is passionate about snow carts. Yeah.
It's a really interesting use case because again, it's something that you can really see this. You think about winter Adventureland, if you're a snow hill, like a ski hill, especially not necessarily the Whistler type ski hills, but across the country, there's a lot of these smaller ski hills. I come from Winnipeg, so we used to ski on, small hills that were no bigger than, the dike in Winnipeg, and a snow cart program for something like that would be ideal. So we're starting to get a lot of interest in that sort of concept and starting to flesh it out, right? So again,
even on golf courses.
Golf courses is a great sort of, how do you use your golf course in the winter? Well, you put a track on it around your courses and you rent out snow carts and have hot chocolate stands or fishing stands or whatever all along the path, and you've got a nice winter wonderland happening. So lots of different opportunities to utilize the snow cart in a variety of different applications.
Well, I do see quite a lot of a lot of electric mobility rentals popping up, so scooter rentals, that kind of thing. I think it's an easy switch in the winter, especially back east in Canada or anywhere east of where we are, where you're just dumped on, why not utilize that space? Why not, build that revenue stream during the winter instead of, shutting her down? So I think that's pretty viable, and we've had a few inquiries to that effect. So I'm going to predict that that's going to be something that you'll see. And it's such a cool family activity. You don't actually, again, I think it's important to make the distinction between like the sled heads, and just electric mobility in the snow. It's a totally different world, right? Like there's the world of the BRAP, and then there's no BRAP. And we're in the no BRAP world. We're in the place where it's just like, you want to, instead of walking 7 miles to the fishing hole, maybe you just want to hop on the snow cart and, toot along at 20K an hour. That's still pretty good. That's not bad,
And you want to do it peaceful, quiet too. That's the big one, right? It's like these things are, so you don't interrupt, anything from a wildlife perspective or anybody else out there. It's not it's a really nice experience, right?
It is. I mean, you got some land, that's, you got to, whatever, check your fences, check your traps, check, all that kind of stuff. You can be out and back and then recharging without using any fuel, making any noise, and, without any impact on the environment. So I think it's, we like it. I think we've done well this year selling them. So I expect it to just improve more and more from the engineering side, and then you're going to see them more and more too.
Yeah, and I see another question there from Bob, looking in to see if if we've sold any in Colorado, where we might be able to see one. So of course, the volume of them out there right now is pretty low in certain markets. So Colorado, I think we had some interest there. I don't know if one went out the door yet to that market. All I can say is it is a really interesting experience when you get it. Most people that get them, again, they jump on them, they have a lot of fun, they're willing to we can give you a lot of references for people that actually have them. So Bob, if you're interested, give us a call, hook up with us, and we can introduce you to somebody that has one and get some reference there at least, right?
So what's the best email to give people? Sales at ENVO Drive?
Just sales@envodrive.com will get us to the right spot.
Okay. Boom. Well, I think that's we're about an hour in, and that's a pretty good spread in terms of questions and information. Is there anything else you guys feel like we need to add?
I don't know. I think it's just it's about sort of taking advantage of these of the season, right? And the move towards e-mobility is vast in all sorts of different modalities, right? So road, snow, water. I think just keep in touch with us for the market out there, and continue to look for our new innovations coming out. And we'd love to get you on a snow bike, a snow cart, one of our water bikes coming out maybe soon, and of course our e-bikes, which are selling well as well. So just keep an eye on ENVO, because the Envolution is here, and we're driving it.
Yeah, we are. Lots of new stuff coming. Lots of exciting announcements coming up. So if you don't follow us, give us a follow on YouTube here, and then Instagram, social, that kind of stuff. There's some exciting stuff coming.
Yeah, and I just see one more note from Bob here in terms of what's the delivery time. Well, Bob, if you get your order in today, we'll get it out to you. It'll leave the dock in a day or so, and you'll have it in a week probably by the time you get it. So just contact us anytime.
Yep, they're built right here in Vancouver, so they're I can see like 6 from where I'm sitting, and 5 are spoken for. So Bob, last one's yours. Okay, thanks guys. James, thanks for saying thanks. That's about it. I think we'll wrap it up, unless we'll wait a couple seconds. Any more questions? But I think we're good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, again, happy Evolution. Thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you all next time.
Yeah, totally.
We'll be doing more of these too, by the way. So just keep an eye out for it. We'll be sending some notifications out around the next program. We've got some spring stuff happening with our new Flex program that you'll see some a new video on as well. So again, stay tuned. The future is bright. So thanks everybody.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.